Hello everybody, welcome to this ScrumDo review video. Today I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about ScrumDo, and as always, if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll also be leaving a discount link in the description of this video so that you can always get your money's worth for ScrumDo. ScrumDo is a collaborative platform that allows you to boost team productivity, and you're also able to manage flexible project management frameworks all in one really seamless place. So basically, it's a great collaboration platform where you're able to make sure people are doing their things on time, making sure what they've got is meant to be handed in, how much time they're spending on specific tasks. It's almost like a clock in, clock out app, but with a little bit less serious, but also really useful so that people can manage it and use it to manage their time individually, but also you can keep track of how long people are spending on tasks as well. So here we are on the main page, and the main page offers a little bit of information about what we have to do in the day. As you can see, a sort of calendar looking thing on the right. You also have any priorities that you need to do, so you can add particular things that you need to basically have at the top of your to-do list, and these will obviously appear here. You can add different cards that have different features for them. You can also have your to-do list and anything that has already been completed. So this is basically a list of everything that we need to do. As you can see, the date that it's due in, these are the dates at the top just next to it, so the 5th, the 5th, the 6th, the 6th, all like that. And then you also have anything that is upcoming, so you need to complete. This is quite a few days away, so as you can see, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. So that's essentially our homepage. It's basically a nice little way to see everything that needs doing, but you can't really interact with it much. You can, however, start to actually do a particular task, and all you would need to do is hit the play button. And once that's done, you can either stop and discard the track time, and because if you say made a mistake and you didn't want to accidentally click it, you can just get rid of it. You can also stop and log the track time so that you can obviously go back and complete it and log the time that you have spent on it, or you can take a break and come back to it in a few minutes. So that's our homepage. Now, moving on to our dashboard, this is where we can view all of our work in progress, your inbox messages, and any completed work history that you've got. You can also add widgets to it as well, but you would have to change this to editing mode, so that is also possible. So under the My Work in Progress tab, this basically shows us a bar chart of the distribution or the ratio of different tasks and the progress of that particular task. So you have anything that's in setup, how many are actually in progress, how many are waiting on something to happen, maybe you're on a break or something, and how many are personally worked in progress. So these are personal ones. And then you also have your inbox, and what this basically allows you to do is post stuff so that other people can see it, but also people can contact you as well, and you can receive information and receive messages from others. And then you have a completed work history tab, which basically shows you all of the work that you have completed in the past, but as you can see, no work has been completed by this user, so this won't be appearing in this section. At the bottom here, this is basically a very interesting thing. This is where we can view our progress on a specific task, and as I told you earlier, we've been doing this for 1 minute and 7 seconds, so we're going to go ahead and hit stop and log track time, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Under workspaces, we have our two different things, or two different sections that are currently in progress. So we're going to go for the 12 easy steps to become a ScrumDo master, because this is the one that comes pre-installed essentially on the website that you're able to look at and use and learn in order to feature it. As you can see, these are the ones that we have to do that will take 1 hour, but you basically can filter this in all a manner of different ways. You can filter it in a list format so that you can see the amount of things that you've got. As you can see, we've got 1 to 12 and then this is 13, and then you have how many still need to be completed or started and how many are in progress. And then you also can view this in a list or a board format where everything is listed in a to-do phase, and then you can also drag, as you can see, you can drag these to the doing phase, and then you can obviously drag this to the done phase if you want to. There's basically a load of different ways of interacting with it. And there is one more, but before we get on to the final one, we're going to go through the docs. So this is a really nice way of having documents integrated with this platform, so that if you needed to complete a job that did require documentation, you can do this built in with the website, and you can use all these features here. You can do analytics, risk, import, archive, integration, and settings, and you can even create your own documents as well if you want to. But as you can see, you can open an inline, click on the plus sign, you can do all these different things, and this is essentially the layout of a document. You can have a cover image, obviously a title, you can have little icons, you can have checkboxes, anything you really need. And the other option, as I said we would come back to, is the mind map visualization. So this is where we have have our two, as you can, well, this is our number one workspace, and then we have the two sections of the workspace, and then these are distributed out into our jobs for that specific thing. So ideas, we don't actually have any for because these are obviously coming from you, but actual work that needs to be completed will come from the work category. And then we have the calendar option, which basically allows us to look through all of the things and the due dates of particular tasks. As you can see, we are currently on Saturday the 7th, and these are the things that were due, and these are the things that are due today, and then these are the things that are due in the future as well. Gantt is also a feature that you can use. It's basically a calendar, but in a slightly different way, so that you can see the proportion of how long each task is really meant to take. So this was a day, but this one here, for instance, is 4 days. This one, for instance, is 5. And you're basically able to look at the progress of whereabouts you should be in terms of completion or progress on specific tasks. So if I were, for example, doing this one, I should basically be finishing off and getting ready to submit it tomorrow or at midnight in about 5.5 hours. But for this one, for instance, we have one more day, so we should be finishing off the main bit and going on to proofreading. Say it was like a essay task or something like that. But obviously you can use this for whatever you want. And then you have the more category, and this is basically where we can view any milestones that we have to do. So you can drag these to new milestones, you can create new milestones that you want to actually achieve in your progress. You can go to the sprint and release planning form. You also have the option to view different assignees. So as you can see, this is me, and these are the tasks that have been specifically assigned to me, and you can view what different people have to complete. You also have a point system so that you can see how many points different things are. As you can see, you get a point with 0.5, 1, 2, 3. You can basically customize these to be whatever you want, all the way up to infinite points if you wanted to have that. And then you have time state, so you can see the timing for stuff, whether it's set up, doing, blocked, or done. And then you also have your tasks that you need to complete. As you can see, a to-do list of all the tasks, and then the reported time for specific things. So these are the ones that we started, and I was the one that did it. I am apparently offline at the moment. Obviously that's the case because you'll only be classed as online if you are in the middle and clocked into a task. We don't need to go to the docs section because we've already been there, and we don't need to go to the My Map either because these are basically the exact same hyperlinks to that specific area. But now we can move on to the members category. So the members is where we can view all of the different members in our specific organization. This could be employees, colleagues, friends, anything like that. And then it will also show us any staff members that we've got. So as you can see, it would basically show us the member and then their permission level. So we know whether they're important, what role they have in the company, who they are, what they do, a little bit of information. And you can obviously invite members, and then you can invite staff members. And as I just said, staff members are the people with elevated permissions. Then you have the option to go to the chat area. Now, this is one of my favorite parts about this website. A lot of people use stuff like Slack. A lot of people may use something like Discord. But what this website does is it basically combines an email and Slack all into one singular page. And I think that this is brilliant. What you basically have is an inbox, a bit like any normal email, Gmail, Hotmail, whatever you use. And then you have a channel icon where you can create different channels and browse different channels for specific purposes. So if I typed hello, as you can see, very similar to Slack, we have a hashtag general. You can also have direct messaging for specific people that are in your company, and then also workspace updates. But I think that this is a really great feature because a lot of the time having external software installed on your PC can just be a hassle in order to have to constantly switch. But having this inbuilt into this feature, I think is a really great thing, and I absolutely love it. Then you obviously have your search bar where you can search for different things. This is basically where you can search in a workspace for different tasks that you know that you have to complete. You would just put the name of it into the search bar, and then it will find what workspace it is. You can obviously sort by and search in different workspaces if you know that, but it's a really great way of just narrowing down different things. If you don't really want to have to go through the hassle and you do have a lot of workspaces or something like that, instead of having to filter through all of them, you can just search for a specific thing in a specific workspace. And then finally, we have the time report. So this is basically where we can view different people's distribution of time spent on specific tasks. So for example, 1E17, which was personalization, this basically took me 2 seconds, and we had this one on for 1 second, and we had this on a little bit earlier. So the total hours is 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 3 seconds of work. And you can obviously make sure whether this is billable, and you have a little bit of information that you can obviously change here, so you can select different labels for them, but obviously you would then have to put and assign those labels prior to putting them on. But it's nice to know that you can categorize the different timesheets and also view how you're doing and how other people are doing. And you can enter time if need be on this feature here. But realistically, why would somebody want to use something like ScrumDo? And the answer behind that is very, very simple. I think this appeals to an audience who want a collaborative platform where they can manage all their productivity all in one place, but without the hassle of having to install an external piece or without having to know the ins and outs of software and stuff like that. It's also quite a really useful feature because usually when clocking in, you require them to actually be there in person. Maybe people, just like because of COVID, people were a lot of doing at-home work. Instead of having to have them come in and clock in with maybe an ID card or a PIN number, you can have them do it online and just share the evidence that they've done a specific thing by updating you with the progress. So it wouldn't basically be like them earning money for not doing anything. It's a great way of being able to check on what people are doing at what time. So I think that that's really critical, and I think that it's a really well implementation in this software. But that is more or less it for ScrumDo. So what do I think about ScrumDo? And in all honesty, I really, really like it. I think that their integration of, say, the chat feature with the inbox and the Slack-like chat is a really, really great feature. I think that a lot of people would find this incredibly useful, and being able to communicate with people in different ways and also have the direct messaging, I think it's just brilliant. And also the way that you don't need to have, say, Google Docs, you don't need to have LibreOffice or Microsoft Word or any of these, big documentation programs. You can have it all in one website. Communication, documentation, time tracking, it's really, really good. And you can manage different projects in there. You can have as many workspaces as you want and invite people and elevate their permissions. I think that overall, it's a really great seamless app so that you can manage your productivity in your company and make sure people are playing their part. But thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.